we have a new Marvel series, like brand spanking new, came out yesterday, Moon Knight, which
Yeah, it's interesting.
which I'm
Interesting.
sure like no one but diehard comic nerds have any idea about, which is good. We'll see
Yeah,
how
is
it
he
goes.
he's not popular at all in the comics.
Uh okay, so that's the definition of popular. It's like, is he known in the comics? Yes. Do people think his costume's cool? Yes. Do people like it when he shows up? Yes. Does he have comic series and stuff like that? Yes, yes. But would fans like die and kill themselves if they didn't get a Moon Knight series? No, he is not as popular as Spider-Man or Captain America or Iron Man, those guys. But he's
Really, not a, I mean,
mm-mm.
because you said like Iron Man wasn't really popular before the movies that much.
Yeah, well, I think the movies made him more popular. But I mean,
Hmm.
everybody, if you go to a comic shop and you said Iron Man's name, everybody would know it's Tony Stark, right? I guess everybody would know Moon Knight. Like, it's just like he's never gotten the service from the comics that he's probably deserved. Maybe that'll change.
Okay.
But like if you look at Spider-Man, he's had people writing his stories since like 1964, five. Uh,
I mean, Spider Man's the most. I mean, aside from maybe Superman, Spider Man's the most famous superhero of all time.
yeah, but that famous that took work. Like Marvel didn't have to like he was popular, but Marvel could have said, we're not gonna give him writers or artists, we don't care.
Right.
And so like Marvel never really gave Moon Knight like the same kind of super hardcore creative talent to make him rise. But I think that's kind of changed in the last 10 years or so. And I mean I think this series is going to do some interesting things. I've got some. I actually have some things about Moon Knight, and I kind of need to apologize to him to the character for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that Moon Knight was just a blanket copy of Batman, but I'm completely wrong. His character was created in 1974 ish,
Yeah.
but his the comic came out in 1980. Batman's way older than that, and there's probably some similarities between like some inspirations when people wanted to create Moon Knight, but as a whole, Moon Knight's mythology and his story and his character arc is a bit different. Not a bit different, pretty much a good chunk of change different. So,
Well, I did a little bit of reading myself, and the guy that they're crediting as the creator of the Moon Knight show is Doug Munch. I think
mm,
is how you say his last name.
he's done
And it
some work with the
seems like
Batman.
he's done some Batman stuff too.
Yeah, he's done some work. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, like at a certain point, I think what he did was he took like the Batman mythos and said, "What can I do to make this a little fresh, a little different?" And then he got Moon Knight,
Hmm.
and then he took it to Marvel.
Right.
And like, if there was real copyright infringement stuff, we'd know about it.
Yeah, I mean, they do flavors of each other's characters all the
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do want to tell our listeners, Doug I can't pronounce his name.
I'm
Doug
saying Munch.
Yeah, Doug Munch is great. He's done some amazing Batman stuff. Pick it up. He's so good. He wrote
Yeah.
some really good Batman stories.
Hmm.
100%. Batman around the in the early eights and then like around the late 1970s, early 1980s. Those edgy man. He has some crazy stories. Yeah, Batman like the Batman stories are really good around that time. And then like yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
All right. Enough about Batman. Let's get back to Moon Knight.
Okay.
What do you think of the opening of this show? It was a little, it was a little weird. Gave me kind of made me think of Angels and Demons,
I never
the
saw
Dan Brown stuff.
Never saw it, never heard of it.
Oh, really?
I will say
Okay.
I will say this. I loved the first episode. I thought I was thoroughly entertained. With like I mean the open is when he broke the glass and he like put the glass in
Yeah.
his shoes and walked off. And we're talking about Arthur what's his name?
Harrow?
Yeah, Arthur
Arthur
Harrow.
Harrow.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I like and Arthur Harrow is from the comics. He was, I think, in Moon Knight. I think he was in a Moon Knight comic. I'm not sure which ones. But he's a like don't think that he's done anything in the comics. I did some research. He's a nothing character. Whatever they're doing with him in the series is way more than he did in the comics by like 10,000. So um
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it was that scene in particular that made me think of the Dan Brown movies.
Yeah, I saw
If
one.
you've ever seen them, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I have seen one. The one that everybody saw with Jesus had like babies. What's it called? It's Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is in it, but I don't think Jesus having babies was.
Yeah,
Well, I
it
guess.
was.
Yeah, I guess it's about
Yeah,
his bloodline.
it was.
Yeah, it's about his
He
bloodline.
had
That's right.
babies. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'm not
Okay,
crazy. What was
yeah.
it called?
You're right.
The
The Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci
The
Code.
Da Vinci Code. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So that
one of
the
the
opening
villains
of this is what reminded me
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, one of the bad guys does that whip thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Self-flagellation.
Yeah. And like I can't wait to find out what's going on with the Arthur Harrow character. I can't wait to find out the tattoo stuff and what's on his arm. I can't wait to find out all that stuff because it's going to be super interesting. I mean,
Right.
I am ready to learn about Egyptian gods, dude. I think
Yeah, man.
they've always been super cool, and I cannot
Yeah.
wait to dig into them. Like, I am a huge
Stargate.
Yeah, no, not just Stargate, but the Mummy series, Mummy 1 and 2.
Mummy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
give me that.
All of that.
Give me not Mummy 3. Mm. No, I'm not.
What about the Tom Cruise
No,
one?
I love Tom Cruise, but I did not watch that one as well. No,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, Egyptian stuff. I'm all about that. I love it.
Yeah. That's why I'm so excited for this show. Is I like stuff having to do with the moon, and I like Egyptian stuff. So I'm on board.
I wonder why. Well, never mind. I was going to say something, but forget. I was going to say why Egyptians like focused on the moon like they did, but they also focused on the sun. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are like the two most important things when you look up. So
yeah, and we don't look up anymore. So
we have 2 days out of the week named after them. So
what?
They're pretty important things. Yeah, Monday and Sunday.
No.
Yeah.
Is that why we have it?
Yeah, Monday's Moon Day and Sunday's Sunday. Obviously.
What about the rest of the days?
Saturday's Saturn.
What's Tuesday?
So in America, Tuesday through Friday are named after Norse mythology.
Get out.
Characters. Yeah. Thursday's Thor's Day.
Wednesday?
Wednesday is Odin's Day. Woden's Day.
Thursday?
Thursday's Thor's Day. Friday is like Frigga's Day. Freya's Day.
What's Tuesday?
Tuesday is Tyr's Day.
So a country that was based off of like Presbyterian Christian traditions and Anglo-Saxon traditions, we have so many old school God things that's hanging out in our culture. Like we buy a Christmas tree and ordain it with stuff and then put presents at the feet of it. Like what? What are we doing?
lots of
like Easter,
heavy northern Europe influences.
Yeah, what's Easter?
In our culture.
Easter has nothing to do with anything. And a bunny can't even have eggs. Anyway,
yeah.
We're getting off subject, which is fine.
All right, so yeah, Monday and Sunday, Moon Day and Sunday.
I think I like Monday more than ever now. I'm going to call it Moon Day. They should have released Moon Night on Mondays. Oh, that was
Josh, our friend at the Craft Beer Cast, they always talk about. I think they release their episodes every Thursday.
Ah, well, shout out to them. Today's Thursday. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the Egyptian stuff that's in here, and it's super cool, and we're excited for it.
Yeah. What? So the Egyptian god.
The episode starts.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay,
you got it.
So the Egyptian god for the villain, I forget which one he was.
Khonsu.
Yes, but no. Was it Khonsu?
Is that who you're talking about?
No, the Moon Knight's Egyptian god is Khonsu.
Okay.
I don't know what.
Oh yeah, for the villain guy, it's like Enter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ahmet or something.
Yes. So I'm curious to see what's going on with all that. That's gonna be fun. Anyway, keep going.
As this goes along, I'm really gonna have to read into all that. But so what I wanted to talk about is like, so we open up with Arthur Harrow, which is kind of weird for the Moon Knight show, but it's a good opening.
Mm.
Then we go to Oscar Isaac's character, Marc Spector.
Yep.
And we don't really learn a lot about him except for the fact that he lives in an attic and ties himself up to his bed and like pours sand around his bed and does some painter's tape on his door every night. What can you tell us about Marc Spector?
Well, first, it's not Marc Spector, it's Stephen Grant. So you have to remember that the Moon Knight character has dissociative personality disorders, which means he has multiple personalities, and one of his
Right.
personalities is Stephen Grant. And so for Stephen,
They don't explain that. You have to figure that out in the first episode.
yeah, but I think they show it pretty well. I mean, he's got sleep issues, which is like narcolepsy, and dissociative personality disorders, and a couple other things are kind of all tied together. Like it's not unusual for a person
Mm,
with dissociative personality disorders to have narcolepsy.
okay.
I could or could not be writing something about that. So just let you know.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so we have him. And in the comics, Stephen Grant is rich. He's a billionaire. But I'm glad they changed it to make him like he is now. Because I think,
So in the comics, he's even more like
yes,
Batman.
exactly. So I'm glad they changed him. And I think Stephen Grant's awesome. I loved Oscar Isaac's acting. I loved his accent. I loved everything about him.
That voice that he does is something else.
I love the way Stephen Grant runs. I love how he talks to people. I love how confused he is. I love everything about it. There's a couple different things that I have issue with. First, I don't care how much money you make. You're not going to live in a place like that in London. That place is huge.
Yes, massive, man.
Like you can't afford that. London is so expensive.
Right.
Second of all, shout out to London. I love that city. And it was so cool to see a show. I've been to a British Museum several times, and it's just kind of fun to see it again. And I got homesick for a place that's not my home.
Mm, cool. Um, so you're talking about the museum.
Hmm.
I guess that's a good time to bring this up. When he's in the museum, there is a QR code on the wall.
Yes.
So if you go to 5 minutes and 5 seconds in from the start of the show, there's a QR code on the wall. Supposedly, I tried this; it didn't work for me. Did you try it?
I haven't had a chance to. I'll try it later. But people have.
Yeah, supposedly it pulls up like a free copy of the first issue of Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm. Was it the first issue of Moon Knight or the first appearance of Moon Knight?
I don't know.
The first appearance of
one or the other.
The first appearance is Werewolf by Night, number 34. I think it's the first appearance.
Okay.
But
yeah. So go to 5 minutes and 5 seconds and see if that works for you.
yeah, Disney, do this more often. In fact, Disney, how about you give everybody who subscribes to Disney Plus a free subscription to the comic service so they can read your comics?
Boom. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Do this more often. Do it more often because like the comics are super cool. You've got like a rich history with comics. Don't run away from that. Embrace it. I mean, like just having a cool QR codes all over the place would be great. Just for people to find. It's really a nice touch.
Right. Anything else you want to tell us about Steven or Mark?
Yes. So I don't know much about Moon Knight, but I am impressed. I thought that Marvel retconned the character in the early aughts to make him have dissociative personality disorder, but that's not true. He actually has dissociative personality disorder in his first episode in 1980, which really impressed me. I didn't know that.
Huh.
I've read some stories with Moon Knight in it, but I never really understood that he had personality disorders until like the last like 10 years or so. There's a really good Ultimate Spider-Man comic storyline with him in it, where it's Moon Knight, but then it's Marc Spector and Stephen Grant. But then Spider-Man and a few other people convince Moon Knight to change into a different person, into a different costume, and they don't understand that he has social personality disorders, and so he actually becomes Ronin, the Ronin character that we know from the Marvel shows, like Hawkeye was doing.
From Hawkeye?
Yeah. And so, like
is he the original Ronin?
No. Remember, this is Ultimate Spider-Man, which is a different cinematic universe. I mean, a different comic universe. So it's a different, whole different thing. But
okay,
Brian Bendis, who wrote the story, he did a really good job showing what happens to someone with dissociative personality disorders. It overtakes him, and it causes him severe pain and suffering. So it's really cool the way he did it. But anyway, so for our listeners, all the stuff with dissociative personality disorder is comic accurate, and I'm sure everybody remembers in the show this crazy looking mummy thing that's was following him around and chasing
Yeah,
him.
that's Khonsu.
That's Khonshu. Khonshu. Now, this is going to be something that I'm curious about what they're going to do. There's two things the show could do. One, Mark Spector is just not well in the head, and all this stuff he's just making up, and there is no Egyptian god really. Or
Right.
two, there really is a Khonshu, and and Mark Spector is possessed by an Egyptian god, and this Egyptian god is making him do things, and forcing him to do things. It's really interesting when I was researching it
Right.
that Khonshu and Mark Spector and the Mark Spector and his personalities have a very antagonistic relationship. Like at some point, Mark Spector and Khonshu actually fight each other and battle each other. Khonshu takes over Mark Spector's body for a long period of time. So it's not like Khonshu loves Mark Spector. It's not like they're teammates. There's going to be some beef there. There's going to be some rocky places where these people, whatever they are working together. But I think from a cinematic storytelling place, there's going to be places where they're going to want us to think that Mark Spector is just nuts versus this is really happening. So
Right.
for example, Mike, when at the very end of the episode, I know we're jumping a little bit, but at the end of the episode, you saw the Moon Knight costume envelop Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, right? Did that really happen? Is he wearing a costume or is it in his head? You know?
Yeah, there's a few times in the episode where Steven has visions of Khonshu in the city
Mm-hmm.
before the end of the episode where he dresses up in a costume that's very much styled like Khonshu.
Mm-hmm. But
So maybe he's just seeing those visions and then imagining himself as that.
Yeah, so is he really wearing a costume? And I listen, storytelling is part of my job. It's kind of what I studied, it's where I know. So I'm fine with just letting the show do what it needs to do. But I do think
Right.
that some viewers are going to either be a little confused, maybe a little frustrated, not knowing what's real. So I'm curious to see how they're going to handle that.
Right. Okay. I mentioned the sand circle. Do you know anything about that? I mean, near as I can tell, he just does that sand circle around his bed so that
what is that?
you can see whether there's footprints in it or not the
Ah,
next day.
yeah. Mm.
So,
Like,
I mean, it's kind of weird though because all of his tricks to find out whether he's leaving at night
doesn't work.
are easily undone
Yeah.
by whoever he would be, turning into or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like Marc Spector is like a mercenary. Like, we'll get to this in a second, but this guy's skilled, and so he can get.
Yeah, I mean
he can get
the
through
painter's tape is super easy to replace. Yeah. Yeah.
But imagine not being able to trust your own mind. Like like I know people who
Right.
have relatives with Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff like that, and I'm not down with that. Like once I start not remembering things, you might as well just take me to a cliff and just toss me off. Like I'm not dealing with that. So I have some sympathies to Steven because it's like just imagine living that way, not really knowing what you're doing with yourself, like knowing that something else is going on constantly.
Yeah. One of the weirdest points in this show for me was when all of a sudden he's like in this German town. I think it's in Germany. It looks like it's in Germany, maybe. It's like, how the heck did he get there?
He's like, are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. What do you think?
I don't know.
Like I mean, he's so far. It's not like he's not in London. I don't even think he's in the same country. He's in another country.
Yeah, well, Europe is very interesting because right after World War II, instead of building a car infrastructure, they had a train infrastructure. So it's not it's not unrealistic to think that
right.
A half awake Marc Spector could get on a train to Germany. It's actually very easy. You could probably get there in probably 6 or 7 hours. So
yeah. Go across the channel, hop on the Deutsche Bahn.
Yeah, it must be nice. It must be nice, Mike, to be able just to get on a train and just read a book and go to Germany and could just do that's a little day trip.
It was nice actually because
you did that.
My wife and I did that. We got on a train in Germany, in Munich. Got in a sleeper car, went to bed, and when we woke up, we were in Paris.
Like, okay, I don't want. I'm just angry that you've done that, and now I'm thinking, okay, maybe me and my wife, maybe we have to do that at some point. But anyway,
Right? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I want to say
So
that.
yeah, that's a good point. That's how he
Yeah,
got there. But there in this German town, there's that crazy monk,
yeah,
Arthur Harrow, and a bunch of disciples in the
yeah,
town,
and
and they're doing some pretty weird stuff.
I want to say this right now. I love the action sequence in this series, in this whole thing, and here's why I love it. They know we've seen a fight scene. So they don't have to show us the fight scene. They can simply have Stephen Grant pass out for a second and wake up and the fight scene's over. And we can imagine it. And it was so well, especially the car chase. That was so good. Like that was perfectly handled. And even when he woke up and his jaw was dislocated, I was like, this is great. Like
Right.
I
His mouth's all
yeah,
bloody.
I know we're going to get fight scenes in this series, but
Yeah.
man, make it so it's weird. Like, give me the weird stuff like that, because
Yeah, I dug it. You and I dig that.
Mhm.
However, there's people like my wife that didn't. And
Oh,
so she was telling me she was frustrated by that because she wants to see the fight scene.
you've seen
And
one.
I was telling her, I was like, maybe in the rest of the series you're going to be able to see all that, but in this first series they wanted to leave the reveal of what the Moon Knight looks like until the very end of the episode.
Yeah,
And she's like, okay, but still, just show me, like, from a first person perspective, show me the fight happening. So I mean, yeah, some people are still going to be frustrated, but I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was awesome. Like, I mean, you and I, we've seen a lot of this stuff, so we can kind of just we don't really need it, but I thought it was very creative, very well done, especially the driving sequence. It was just great, and
By the way, that road, I would love to drive on that road. It looks so fun.
like the voiceover, that voiceover, his voice. So we don't know who that deep voice is.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
I mean, from the
if
IMDb
you
credits,
check,
we do.
but we're assuming it's Khonsu, and we assuming it's F. Murray Abrams, right?
Yes, that's definitely F. Murray Abrams' voice.
That voice was fantastic, man. It was so
He
deep.
if you love that voice, he is in Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus, and that's a great show. And you should watch it.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
But so good, man. That's like deep and foreboding. Out the way they handled the sound effects is just so well done, so smart. It's just great. That whole scene was just really great. But it did kind of slow down when we got back to London. It took us a while to ramp back up. And there is some storytelling beats that I think I had some issues with. So,
Like what?
well, when Arthur Harrow finds Stephen Grant, and for the rest of the time we talk about Moon Knight, I'm going to treat the individual personalities as if they're individuals. So I'm not going to say.
Okay.
So I'm not going to compile them. I'm going to talk about them individually.
Right.
But when Stephen Grant's at the museum, he confronts him, right? And then once he does that ritual with them with the cane and everything, and realizes that Stephen Grant is in chaos, he lets him go. Okay,
What does that mean? What does that mean? Chaos is within you.
well, because we saw it in the square where he judges people based off if you're a good person or a bad person. Quote.
Yeah, it's actually like it's a Mitt doing that, right?
Yes.
She's judging whether you are not just in the present or in the past have been good or bad, but she sees into your future.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been good your entire life, as that like old lady was in the town, but you're going to do something bad a week from now, sorry. End of the road for you.
Yeah, exactly. And and when he did that to Stephen Grant, he said there's chaos with you, which means I can't tell if you're good or bad, right? And so that was interesting. But so let me ask you a question, Mike. You experienced that. You realized that the weird dream you had is actually true, and you just met a guy where his tattoos on his arms moved. Would you stay at work, Mike?
Probably not.
No. I was like, this is so weird. Why is he still there? Why is he still like? I don't understand why. I'd run away. I'd just bail, but he stays the night, and then he gets attacked by a weird demon dog thing.
This religion or whatever it is very widespread. I mean, there's a whole town in Germany, I guess, And back at Steven's museum that he works at, there's employees there. There's like a guy that's a member of the security team that's a disciple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen this before. If you remember back in Falcon and Winter Soldier, there was a bunch of people in there. What was it called? The Flag Smashers. They had a lot of disciples.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
it's
Right.
supposed to make us feel like anybody could be this way, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And like, and I understand you're thinking it's a lot of them, but we've really only seen 50 or 60 of them, which isn't much, right? So who knows? Um,
While we're on Steven and working in the museum, it seems like there's a new trope with people who would be really good being museum tour guides and them just not being allowed to be a museum tour guide.
have you seen that
Was
before?
it wasn't that in the Eternals? Like wasn't one of the characters in there somebody that would have been a great museum tour guide but wasn't allowed to be?
No, no.
Maybe the Black Knight guy?
He was a
No?
professor. He was a professor.
Was he?
Yeah, and so is Cersei. Yeah, they were professors at school.
But didn't I don't know. I thought he wanted to be and there's a Doctor Who episode where the same thing happens where somebody would be a great tour guide, but they're just not allowed to. I just want to say, writers out there, let these people be tour guides. They're good at it.
And like tour guides don't even make that much money. It's not like you're making a comment on the meritocracy. It's like
Right.
if you're a tour guide, it's like yeah, I'm a history major. Now I'm a tour guide. You know, it's like it's not something that's
Yeah.
like exclusive. You know.
Yeah. Right.
But I think they do
Anyway.
that to make the character seem special, right? He's special, but no one notices,
Right.
so it is what it is. Mhm.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. You were talking about the mummy dog fight.
Yeah. So, okay, so is that a real? So the thing is, the story is already established that the character that we're following has some mental issues. So we're going to have a hard time trusting anything that we see on screen. And so, to our listeners again, I would just kind of take that as a grain of salt. Just run with it and don't worry about it too much. Like, don't question if you're seeing something that's weird or anything. Just watch the show, try to enjoy it, and everything's going to work itself out eventually. So I'm just I don't know if that dog thing's a real dog thing or not. But I loved how they sequenced it with like him run away from it and then like him and Marc Spector talking through the mirror. I like that
Mm-hmm.
conversation. And
Right.
I'm really loving Oscar Isaac. I don't know how Disney got him to do this stuff. Oscar Isaac is a great actor. I don't know how they're doing it, but keep throwing money at him. That's fine
I
with
mean,
me.
I think it's money. Money helps.
Yeah.
But also, it seems like it's probably just an interesting project for him to do.
Yeah, it's something different than the normal superhero shows, and this is the kind of stuff that we're going to get more and more. The more and more Marvel digs up more of their properties and puts them on live action in Disney Plus, the weirder it's going to get because the rest of them are really weird. And so and that not in a weird way, not in a bad way, but like it's in a way that's going to be pushing boundaries and making people who don't read comics like kind of have to deal with it and I think a positive way. That's my hope.
Mm-hmm. I got a very important question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
What do you think happened to the fish?
I have no idea. That's a really good question. I was thinking that the aquarium fell over and then Marc Spector had to get a replacement fish for it at some point. But I don't know. I guess we'll find out later. I don't know. I don't know. That's a really good question. Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the internet's not really feeling the show right now.
Why not?
I don't know. The internet's weird. And I think they were wanting the Mr. Knight character to come out first. Which I don't.
Who?
There's a character called Mr. Knight, the one that you see in a full suit.
Okay.
He's going
like a suit.
Yeah, you've seen it. You've seen it in the promos, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what fans want because the Moon Knight character is not that fleshed out in the comics, and you have to expect that we've had really fleshed out characters from Marvel Comics to come to the big screen or the little screen, and they've changed them fundamentally. So I'm not sure what fans want. and so
Seems like comic book readers are never satisfied.
that's true. They could 100%. That's true. They're not.
Like you bring a very unknown character from the comics to the screen, and what seems like it's going to be a pretty interesting and not formulaic TV show. And you've got problems with the first episode, which is everybody knows it's going to be introductory.
Yeah,
This is laying the groundwork for the rest of the series.
I mean, I don't want to knock comic book fans. Like as a comic book fan myself, we can have expectations that we want, but I think that at some point, comic book fans are going to have to realize that this isn't going away. Like Marvel's making a ton of money off this, and the comic books that you love, the comic books that you read as a kid, the comic books that you're currently reading, will at some point make their way onto the TV screens and movies. And like this has been happening for a long time. It's going to get sped up because of the success for Disney Plus, and so you just have to deal with it as a comic book fan. I'm treating the shows and movies as a different version of a comic book. That's the way I look at. And so I can read a comic and have one experience. I can watch Disney Plus and have another experience. But don't even for a second think that Disney and Marvel owes comic book fans anything. They're not going to treat it that way. And they're going to create the product that's going to get more people to watch it every time. So you're not going to get what you want. And I'm not really sure what comic book fans want. So,
well, comic book fans, the first episode of a series is not going to be the last episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what they want. Is they want the first episode to have everything in it. It's never going to happen. They have to build towards something.
That's true. And if someone would have told me that WandaVision after the first episode was going to be a hit, I would have been like, maybe, I don't know. It was okay. But now looking at the collective work together, it's way better.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like you're watching Moon Knight. You're watching a Moon Knight TV show. If someone would have told me 20 years ago they were going to make a Moon Knight TV show with Oscar Isaac, I would have laughed. I'd be like, "There's no way they're going to do that."
First of all, you've been like, "Who's Oscar Isaac?"
Yeah, that's true. It's true. But now it's like it's this kind of we have all this fun. We're having so much fun. So let's enjoy it. I'm not saying that people aren't allowed to have their criticisms, of course. But don't hate something just out the gate. And in fact, I would actually wait to hate this show until after it's over. Like just wait.
Yeah. You know, that's the appropriate time to hate a show.
Yeah, like when we worked on What If, we hated the show more and more because we were seeing more and more things to hate. You know? But initially, if you listen to our episodes, the first episode, we were curious and we actually liked it a lot. So again.
Yeah, and we're like, where's this going to go?
Yeah. And then it went to the toilet.
And then it went off a cliff.
So again, if you watched Moon Knight and you didn't like the experience, give the next episode a chance. You know, if you haven't watched it yet, well, first of all, please don't listen to this if you haven't watched the show because we spoil it pretty heavy. But if you haven't watched it, give it a try. It's really good. It's worth. I'm curious to see what they do next.
What did you think of the Moon Knight costume?
I like it because it's so similar and different to the original costume.
How is it similar?
Have you looked at them?
Not really.
Well, don't you think you should?
I mean, you're the comic book guy.
Yeah, it's all white.
I'm here to be ignorant.
Okay.
That's part of the role that I'm playing. You know, some of these questions I actually know the answers to, and I'm just asking them on behalf of the listeners. Other questions I really don't know.
I didn't know that. We've been doing this for almost a year and a half, 2 years now. I didn't know.
Almost a year.
Yeah,
almost
a year. So the costume's all white. So both costumes are all white. In the comics, he has like a moon symbol on his chest. And his cape it makes a moon symbol. If you look at the cape, when he jumps, when he flies, it has a moon symbol of it. Very similar to Batman, as far as Batman having a Batman symbol on his chest and the Bat cape, blah, blah, blah. This costume looks more Egyptian. It looks more like someone, like this is what an Egyptian superhero would kind of look like. And please forgive me, people, anybody who is Egyptian. I don't know that much about your culture, so I might have insulted you. My apologies.
It is, I mean, it's kind of mummy-esque, right? Because it's all like linens.
Yeah.
And it's monotone.
Yeah. It looks kind of dusty a little bit.
Right.
And I like that he has his eyes are glowing white. Like it feels like a lot of times when you have these kind of
I didn't even notice that.
yeah
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch.
when you have these kind of like if you look at Daredevil's MCU costume, it's all red and it's kind of like he could hide in the darkness, and all these characters like have this kind. It looks kind of stealthy, or if you look at Captain America, it has it's like armor and stuff like that. This costume kind of feels like it's like easy to see. It's kind of bright, so it kind of feels like he's not hiding. He's kind of, this is who I am. I'm ready to do this. So it's an interesting take. I think they nailed the costume 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. Speaking of like Egypt and all that, the guy that directed this first episode, I think, is an Egyptian guy.
Yeah, what was his name?
I should have looked that up, but also it looks like, as I'm looking through like the top cast, it looks like there's potentially like several people in the cast that are Egyptian, just based on the names I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
Pretty cool.
I'm down with that.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
In the comics, is he associated with like Egyptian mythology?
Yes. In his first episode, Moon Knight number 1, 1980, he got his powers from Khonsu. Exactly like he was a mercenary. He was hurt. He like passed out next to a Khonsu like statue, I think, and then Khonsu like gave him powers and was telling him what to do. So yeah, 100%.
Very cool. Very cool.
So yeah, I'm happy that they're embracing the Moon Knight character in that way and amping it up and making it more interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
What was your favorite part of the episode?
The place in Germany, the whole fight scene where he's like trying to figure out how he get there, and the fight scene and the car chase. That whole thing was just brilliant.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I think my favorite scene is probably, instead of that one, that's like maybe number 2. Instead of that one, just the scene in the beginning when he's walking into the museum for the first time and talking with that little girl. It was a good moment with Steven.
That was cool. I saw on Reddit, I think there was a poster when he was in the back talking to his coworker. There's a poster of the hierarchy of Egyptian gods. I'll try to find it so I can put it in the show notes. But it was really cool.
He said there were a couple of Egyptian gods missing in the poster. So.
Oh yeah. Not that poster. There was another poster behind him that was there. That's it.
Okay.
If you squint, you miss it. I'll try to find it.
Okay, cool.
But no, I felt. What was your favorite part? Oh, you already said. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
scene with the little girl. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, great episode for number 1. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to grade it just yet, but because there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So
yeah, I mean, it could be great from here on out, or
just turn to poop.
They could just keep doing kind of the same thing over and over again, and you never see Mr. Whoever.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
And that was just in the trailer, and they actually cut his part entirely. Although I wouldn't care because I don't even know who he is. So, but it sounds like it would upset fans.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
What was his name? Mr. What?
Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight.
Yeah, we'll see him. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Mike, are you ready for some news you can't abuse?
You know it.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
First up, Marvel Disney. I wish there was another name for them, but it is. Updated the MCU timeline.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Right.
Yeah, but they didn't do anything. All they did was put Moon Knight at the end.
Yeah, so Moon Knight chronologically takes place
after Hawkeye. Yeah. Which is okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have put it somewhere else, but it's whatever.
I mean, it's a good place for it. We saw Hawkeye last.
Yeah, but we could.
Wait. Where's Spider-Man fit into that?
Because Disney Plus doesn't own those.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
But if you're looking at it, we can place them. I can place it. So yeah. So Spider-Man.
Spider-Man would be like right around the same time as Hawkeye, because in Hawkeye they talk about the new and improved Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Homecoming would be after.
I'm talking about like No Way Home.
Yeah, I know. Homecoming would be after the Civil War, And then
Mhm.
Far From Home would be after Endgame. And of course, yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home, I mean No Way Home. Far From Home would
Yeah.
be after Endgame, and No Way Home would be after Hawkeye, 100%.
Right.
Yep.
Or like right around the same time as Hawkeye.
Yeah, I would actually like it if Moon Knight.
It's probably a little bit before Hawkeye, actually.
I would actually
Or no, yeah,
no, no, no,
after,
no, no,
after.
no. Yeah, after, because they destroy the Statue of Liberty
Right,
stuff.
right,
I
yeah.
would actually like to see Moon Knight way earlier before the blip, so we wouldn't have to keep talking about the blip. But I don't know.
Maybe they won't talk about
They'll talk about it, Mike. Come on. They love the blip.
it.
Disney loves the blip. Disney thinks that's the coolest thing they ever did.
Was Stephen Grant blipped?
Yes, 100%. He was
Okay.
blipped.
Was Marc Spector
They're
blipped?
the same. They're in the same body.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That was a trick question, but you answered
Yeah.
it correctly.
Okay, so Mike, there is a secret MCU character in Moon Knight #1, the episode we just talked about.
What?
Yeah, there's a secret Marvel character in there.
Secret Marvel character. Let me see.
Think hard.
I'm looking at the top cast. Let me see if
Don't
I can
cheat.
pick
No,
him out.
don't cheat. Just think about the episode. Where could that person be?
One of the museum employees,
No.
the security guy.
You know the statue that he was talking to?
Yeah, the golden guy.
Yeah, so that's a real. So in London and other places, I assume they have people who look that way. That kind of like they're statues.
Right. They're either gold or silver
Yeah.
usually.
and they're
sometimes white.
yeah, they're statues basically. Yeah, that was him. He was Bertrand Crowley. Bertrand Crowley.
Okay.
He-
Does he have a special power? Or
No,
something,
no,
or
no.
what?
He's just a homeless guy that would give the Moon Knight character tips and stuff in the comics, and there he is.
Tips like advice.
Yeah, advice and helps him like fight crime and stuff like that. Yep.
Huh. Do you think he's going to reappear?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, me too. It'd be kind of neat. What else? Use you can't abuse. There's another thing here. Oh yeah, okay. So don't cheat, Mike. Rotten Tomatoes Morbius' score. What is it?
So the scale is from 0 to 100.
Yeah. And this is just the reviews. This is not fans.
Just the reviews. I'm going to say in the 20s.
17%.
Whoa. That is low.
Yeah, yeah. So see, we have to wait because when people start to watch the movie, I'm curious. I think it's probably gonna be better. But
That's pretty low though. Like,
yeah.
what other movies have been that low?
Oh, there's a few. But here's the deal: Sony's if this movie comes out and it bombs, Sony is probably going to start rethinking what they're doing because
I mean, I have no desire to go see it.
no, I don't either. And like I would watch it if it's on TV. I would be like, I'll watch it, see what's going on. But
Yeah, sure.
17
rainy weekend day.
yeah, 17% is not good. And I think Sony really needs to rethink what they're doing. They really want a cinematic universe based off B-list Spider-Man villain characters. I don't think it's going to work. They are actually filming a Kraven the Hunter movie right now, and Kraven the Hunter is a great Spider-Man villain. But if you don't have any context to Spider-Man, you wouldn't care. And there's a great. It's called Kraven's Last Hunt. It's a great comic about this, and it just kind of hurts my heart that they're not trying to make that movie. But again, it's like Sony. I can understand Sony. It's like we just want to make money. We don't care, and that's fine. You can keep making these crappy movies, and I can't stop you, of course. But at a certain point, I think they're going to have what's it called? What's it called when you do something, but over time it gets less and less and less? Diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah. It's going to cost. If Morbius costs more money to make than they get, Sony's not going to be happy. And like, it's just embarrassing at this point. It's just like either sell the Spider-Man rights back to Disney or rent them out and make money off of it. But quit making these crappy, bad movies and like destroy. And like, what's his face? Jared Leto's a great actor. Like, he doesn't want a movie with a 17% Rotten Tomato score. That's not good. So I don't know.
He's kind of used to being in bad superhero movies, though.
I don't think that people gave him. I don't think he had the chance to make his Joker interesting. And so when he did the Joker in what's it
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, I don't think he had a chance to really do anything really good with it. And like the DCU is a mess. They don't know what they're doing.
Right.
So
right.
I don't know. Anyway, Mike,
they should rent it. They should rent the properties back to Disney.
Yeah. Well, when they call me and ask me tonight, when Sony asks me what they should do, I'll
Yeah.
I'll
Right.
make sure to tell them. Mike, we have a ton of Marvel stuff coming out this year. I think I knew this, but I didn't know how much. Okay, so listen.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's a mother load.
Doctor Strange and Into the Multiverse comes out May 6th. That's like tomorrow, basically. Thor: Love and Thunder is on July 8th, which is like next week.
Right after spring break.
Yeah, it feels like next week. And then we got, I didn't know Black Panther was coming out November 11th. That's coming out this year. And you also have Moon Knight was out now. Miss Marvel comes out June 8th. And then She-Hulk comes out sometime. My prediction, She-Hulk will be pushed back to 2023. It's not coming out this year. I just got a feeling.
Yeah.
But everything else coming, this is a pretty big load of movies and projects. On top of the Netflix dump they just did. Like, wow, this is a lot of stuff. This is crazy.
Oh no, I think I have some disturbing follow-up.
What?
So you said the golden guy. What did you say his name was?
I don't know. Why? What happened? What's up?
The character, the secret character.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Is it Crawley? Is it Crawley?
Yes. Yeah, Bertrand Crawley.
I hope that IMDb is wrong because according to IMDb, he's in one episode.
Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool though if he comes back.
Fingers crossed. We got to know and love a character for 3 seconds.
Right.
Mike, the biggest news. I updated our Reddit page.
Wow! Finally did it.
It's updated. Yes,
Awesome.
I posted some of our YouTube clips on there. I think I'm going to try to post some more like podcasts on there and some links and stuff like that. But it's alive. It's working. If you like Reddit as much as I do, I am a big fan of Reddit. If you like Reddit, please start. Get into it, man. Like, yeah, it's like help us out. I think 3 people were on our page today.
For the Redditors.
Yeah, 3 people were on our page today. Yeah, just hanging out. There's 3 people who were scrolling through it. There you go.
Pretty cool.
I thought so.
Is that all the news we can abuse?
That is all the news that can be abused. And no rumor boomers this time, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's so sad. So sad.
So Mike, can I ask you a question?
Well, yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Let's say I have a dissociative personality disorder. And I don't want to make fun of people with dissociative personality disorders. I'm just asking theoretically.
No.
And I know I have dissociative personality disorder. And I'm thinking, I want to share this podcast with my other personalities. How could they do that?
Oh my goodness. Whoa. You know what? Sometimes I'll send a text message to myself.
What?
Whenever I need to like share something with myself, I'll do that. Did you know you can do that? You can do that.
You can?
That's how I would do it. Yeah.
How do you send a text message to yourself? How do you do it?
Just go in and type your name and send it to yourself.
Type
your telephone number, type your whatever. Yeah.
That makes me nauseous. I don't know why.
Yeah, and so it's just you talking to yourself.
That makes me seasick.
I think that's what Steven should do with Mark.
Okay. All right.
And Mark should do with Steven.
All right.
Yeah, just send text messages to yourself.
What would be in the text message?
Way to do it. Well, they'd hit the share button while they're listening to this podcast, and then they would just send that right to themselves.
Good. Okay.
So that way, Steven can listen to this. Man, this is a great podcast episode. I gotta share this with Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So just send it to yourself.
Yeah.
Or your friends.
Yeah.
Or your coworkers.
Yeah. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on. What else are we on, Mike?
Yeah, we're everywhere you can find podcasts.
Yes. Are we on?
Everywhere.
Are we? What is it? Are we on Telegram?
That's the Russian social media network, right?
Yeah, I think so. I just started playing around with it.
We might not be on that one.
Yeah.
We might not be on
Well, I
that
mean,
one.
the Russian people deserve to listen to some podcasts.
Well, they can do that through Spotify
Yeah.
or Apple
Okay.
Podcasts or whatever.
I don't think they can get that. I don't think they can get those things anymore.
Well, they could.
Oh man, what a crazy time! All right.
Yeah.
So, Mike, are we going to do this? What's our schedule for Moon Knight? Is it going to be every Thursday, every Sunday? What are we doing?
Yeah, let's do it every Thursday.
Sounds good.
Get it out there fresh for the
I
people.
like it. I like it. Let's do it. Okay, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week.